If you think computers are fast, wait until you hear about quantum computers, machines that don't just think in ones and zeros, but in infinite possibilities. My journey into the world of quantum computing was like stepping through a doorway into another universe, one ruled by science, mystery, and imagination. Chapter 1: The Spark of Curiosity. It started one evening during college. I was reading an article titled "The Future Beyond Classical Computers." The words quantum computing jumped out at me. I had heard the phrase before, but never truly understood what it meant. How could something be both 0 and 1 at the same time? That sounded impossible. But the deeper I read, the more fascinated I became. Quantum computing wasn't just faster, it was different. It used the strange rules of quantum physics, where particles can exist in multiple states at once. That night, I made a promise to myself: I will learn this, no matter how hard it is. Vocabulary to learn: fascinated, extremely interested, or amazed by something. Particles: tiny pieces of matter, such as electrons or atoms. Quantum physics: the branch of science that studies how particles behave at the smallest scale. Chapter 2: The First Step. I began by watching beginner videos and reading articles online, but after a few minutes, my head spun. The terms superposition, qubits, entanglement sounded like words from a science fiction movie. Still, I refused to give up. Every night after dinner, I sat at my desk and took notes. Slowly, the pieces began to make sense. A qubit, I learned, is the basic unit of quantum information, similar to a bit in classical computers, but far more powerful. While a normal bit can be 0 or 1, a qubit can be both at the same time. This property, called superposition, allows quantum computers to perform many calculations simultaneously. And when qubits interact, they become entangled, meaning the state of one qubit instantly affects another, even across distance. It was mind-bending, but thrilling. Vocabulary to learn: superposition: when a quantum particle exists in multiple states at once. Entanglement: a quantum connection where two particles share linked states simultaneously at the same time. Chapter 3: The Classroom of the Future. A few months later, my university opened an elective course called Introduction to Quantum Computing. I enrolled immediately. On the first day, our professor, Dr. Rowe, stood before a digital board and said, "To understand quantum computing, you must learn to think differently, not in black and white, but in probabilities." Those words stayed with me. Classical computers deal with certainty. Quantum computers deal with possibilities. We learned how to program quantum circuits using Qiskit, an open-source toolkit developed by IBM. The idea of writing code that would be executed on a real quantum processor somewhere in the world felt surreal. I remember running my first program, measuring a qubit in superposition. When the result came back as 0 half the time and 1 half the time, I realized I was watching quantum probability in action. Vocabulary to learn. elective, an optional subject chosen by a student. Probability, the likelihood or chance that something will happen. Processor, the main part of a computer that performs calculations. Chapter 4. The struggle and the breakthrough. Learning quantum computing wasn't easy. There were days when I felt completely lost. The math was abstract, and the physics seemed almost magical. One night, I sat in the library staring at a complex diagram. My mind felt overloaded. I whispered, maybe I'm not smart enough for this. Just then, my professor walked by and smiled. Quantum computing is not about being smart, he said. It's about being patient with uncertainty. Those words hit me deeply. From that day, I changed my approach. Instead of forcing myself to understand everything at once, I learned to enjoy the mystery, to see each formula as a story about how nature behaves at its tiniest level. A few weeks later, I finally managed to create my first working quantum algorithm, a simple one that could find patterns in random data. It wasn't perfect, but it worked, and that small success felt like a giant leap. Vocabulary to learn, abstract. Difficult to understand, based on ideas, not physical things. Uncertainty, not knowing what will happen. Lack of certainty. Algorithm, a step-by-step process or set of rules for solving a problem. Chapter 5. Seeing the future. Once I understood the basics, I began to imagine what this technology could do. Quantum computing could revolutionize medicine by simulating molecules, improve cybersecurity, and even accelerate artificial intelligence. But it could also reshape the way humans think about reality. In the quantum world, truth is not always absolute. It exists in probabilities. That idea changed how I viewed life itself. That uncertainty is not something to fear, but something to explore. I joined an online community of young scientists and engineers from around the world. Together, we built small projects, shared experiments, and even entered a global hackathon. For the first time, I felt like part of a movement that could redefine the future of computing. Vocabulary to learn, revolutionize, to completely change something, usually for the better. Cybersecurity, protection of computer systems and data from digital attacks. Hackathon, an event where people collaborate intensively on computer projects. Chapter 6. Reflections of a Quantum Dreamer. It has been 2 years since I began my journey into quantum computing. I still consider myself a student, not just of technology, but of the universe. Sometimes, when I look at the stars, I think about how quantum mechanics governs everything from the tiniest atom to the vast galaxies above. We are all made of quantum particles, dancing in the same mysterious rhythm. My dream now is to help make quantum computing more accessible, to build tools that let everyone experience this wonder, not just scientists. Because the more people understand how the quantum world works, the more they'll realize that uncertainty can be a source of creativity and progress. Conclusion: the quantum lesson. My journey into quantum computing taught me more than science. It taught me humility, patience, and curiosity. I learned that the universe doesn't always give clear answers. Sometimes it gives possibilities. And maybe that's the beauty of it. Because just like a qubit, we all live somewhere between 0 and 1, between what we know and what we can still imagine. Final words to remember. Learning quantum computing is not about understanding everything. It's about exploring the unknown with wonder. The future belongs to those who can think beyond logic and dream in superposition.